I had a call the other day that didn't leave me feeling really great. And the call, unfortunately, was from a past client who just can't hold on any longer with the mortgage rate increases that we've been seeing ever since January of 2022. The rates have just continued to go up and up and up and up, and they're finally at their end for their affordability and what they can carry each month. This story, unfortunately, is very similar for many homeowners right now because let's face it, having a mortgage is expensive, especially if you are someone who is either in a variable rate mortgage or maybe you had a fixed rate mortgage, but it's come up for time for renewal. This is such an incredibly challenging time for everybody, not only with what's happening with the cost of absolutely everything out there, but mortgage rates. And obviously, you need your home, you need to be able to keep a roof over your family's head. That's the number one important thing. This is a really challenging time for people just because of how expensive everything is. And now mortgages are compounding on this, especially with the most recent increase in mortgage rates that just occurred last week. Everything is just so incredibly expensive right now, and mortgage rates, unfortunately, are no different. And this has just been compounded with the most recent rate increase that just happened last week. For a family that had roughly a $500,000 mortgage back at the start of 2022, paying the really basement low rates that were available at the time, has seen their interest payments over a year go from approximately $8,000 to almost $27,000. This equates to almost $1,600 a month in additional fees that are due for their mortgage. It's no wonder that people are struggling to pay their bills, and that's why today's video is so important. We're going to talk about 4 strategies in today's video. If you are someone, or maybe you know someone out there that is struggling to pay their mortgage each month, and arm you with some ideas of things you can do to help loosen the burden that you might have financially. You're going to come away from this video with a few strategies that you can investigate a little bit further to see if they make sense for you. And you're going to feel confident that there are some options out there to help you in case you are someone that's struggling. This is a really important video at a really critical time for many people. So I hope you stay tuned to the end and you find some things in this video that are going to help you moving forward. So let's get into them. In brainstorming in a bunch of strategies that might make sense, there is a handful of things that someone can do to lower their monthly financial responsibilities, especially when it comes to getting a mortgage. In fact, when COVID first hit, it was no different. We saw kind of the opposite of this, where we had people that essentially had zero income at that time. So we filmed this video right here. And if you want to go check that out, I will leave that down below in the description in the show notes so you can go see some of the strategies that we mentioned there. But today, I wanted to share with you 4 things that I think you could consider if you're really someone that's struggling to keep up with your mortgage responsibilities. The first option is to rent out your current home and downsize into a smaller rental that is a lot more manageable. We all know that owning a property, well, it costs money, and things not only need to be maintained and fixed, but those things that need to be maintained and fixed tend to get more expensive as well. Rents have also gone up. You've probably heard about it all in the news, but the good news is you can offset any rent that you might take on for a property that you may relocate to by renting out your own current home. One of the big benefits of doing this, well, actually there's many benefits to doing this, and the biggest benefit in my mind to doing it is the write-offs that you also get to achieve by renting out your property. You're likely someone that is working and are paying taxes every single year. So by renting out your property and starting to gain many of the items that you have to pay for and being able to get tax deductions on those items can be a huge win financially for you. You can write off a ton of stuff when you have a rental property, and that includes things like the mortgage interest, which is a huge issue right now, and tons of money. You can also write off things like repairs. You can write off things like utilities. Even if you chose to have the property professionally managed, well, you can write that off as well. How about insurance for the property? Or how about property property taxes, which just came due. I know we all just got our property tax bill and they were pretty astronomical. So by renting out your property, you can now deduct a lot of these expenses from your overall income. Now, before you do anything like this, of course, you want to speak to your accountant and get the details directly from them. But the biggest warning that I want to give to anybody that is considering to do this is a warning on changing the type of ownership of your home for taxable purposes. You need to speak with your accountant about whether you will trigger capital gains on the sale of your property when you eventually move down the road. So make sure you have that conversation with them, but this is a really good strategy to help offset a ton of expenses that you're currently experiencing. And while you go rent in another property, you can let that landlord worry about the mortgage and interest rates. The second strategy is, maybe you have some extra room in your home that you can rent out. There is many services out there, Airbnb, of course, being one of them, where you can simply rent out a room for extra income. There's also websites out there, websites like Gigster or websites like Space List or Peerspace, where you can rent out certain sections of your home for commercial activities. So maybe you can rent out your backyard if you've got a nice backyard for people to host a birthday party in. Perhaps you can rent out your living room so people can host a photo shoot for a baby shoot or any other need in it. There's tons of ideas that you could actually use this for, and whether you're renting out a room for someone to stay in or you're renting out a specific space in your home for a commercial purpose, this is an easy way to get extra income for your property. The third option on our list is to figure out a way to consolidate debt. If you're like most people that are watching this video, you probably have credit card debt. You maybe have a car loan that you're dealing with, and maybe you even have a home equity line of credit that has absolutely ballooned in your payments, along with everything else I just mentioned. Finding a way to consolidate your debt to get all of that debt added up into the same account, and ideally getting charged a lower fee than what you might be paying on your credit card, as an example, is a monstrous way to start saving some really big money. There, of course, is lots of ways to consolidate debt, so you can jump on Google to kind of check that out, but that will also tie into my next suggestion, and that suggestion, of course, is investigating whether remortgaging right now makes sense for your situation. Naturally, you're going to want to speak with a mortgage professional regarding this, and you're going to want to make sure it's somebody that you really trust. You may currently have a better credit score today than you did when you first applied for your mortgage, so you might get a more premium rate. This also may allow you to do things like extend the amortization on your mortgage. If you've been paying down your mortgage for quite some time, you could easily use some of that equity to free up some cash and either extend your amortization or even borrow some of that money back. While that would obviously increase your mortgage payments to borrow additional money back, it would also get you flush with some cash to help your day-to-day bills while the mortgage rates remain in the area they are. You could also inquire about interest-only type arrangements that you may be able to make with your bank currently, so you're not paying any money towards the principal of your mortgage, but only the interest. While unfortunately this doesn't get your mortgage paid down any quicker, and in fact can actually extend the life of your mortgage, this could free up some additional money for you if you're struggling to make your monthly bills. If you're curious about what you might be able to qualify for, or even just what the current interest rates are and how that might affect your mortgage payments, be sure to jump on our website and check out our new mortgage calculator, where you can see what rates are being offered by various lenders and click in a few examples to see what that might do for your affordability. The last option on our list, well, is to sell your home. While this likely isn't an ideal option for many people, if you're struggling, it certainly is an option that you could consider. One of the reasons that you may want to look at this route is the fact that we've seen incredible price growth in properties across the Lower Mainland over the course of the last 10 years. To put that into perspective a little bit, detached homes in the Fraser Valley are up 47.8% in just the last 3 years alone. Townhomes are up 44.5% in the last 3 years. Condominiums are also up 41.2% in the last 3 years. So if you're someone that's owned your property for quite some time, you certainly have made some really good equity on it, and that might allow you to downsize your home into something that's a little more manageable for you. Perhaps you are coming from a bigger detached home and you can either downsize into a smaller detached home or maybe a larger townhome. The jump making a ton of equity become available to you to, which you can use for whatever purposes you need to. Or maybe you're already in a larger townhome and there is a smaller townhome option, or possibly even a larger condominium might work for your living purposes. It wouldn't be right to give you all this information without letting you know that, of course, there's going to be fees involved in doing that. However, if the goal is to free up a lot of your financial commitments each month, this might be a really good option for you, allowing you to really achieve what you're looking to do, and that's free up extra money. Now that you've got the options, I'm curious what you think. Is there something in this video that I missed? If you're somebody out there that has a great idea, for anybody watching this video that really needs a good idea and a really good solution to free up some extra cash, leave it below and let everybody know what you're thinking. I'd be curious to see if there's any ideas that I didn't think of. Hopefully by watching this, you now have some great information that you can pursue and try and figure out what might be a great option for you, and you feel a little more confident that there is a light at the end of the rainbow and you can make things better. It's just going to require some action. This isn't really the type of video where I felt good about asking for what we call a call to action. You know, call us if you need to sell. That's certainly not the point of this video today. I hope you got something out of it. I would love to hear the comments from anybody that might be watching this with those ideas, and hopefully things look better for everybody soon. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, because we are going to try to release more great videos like this on how to make it better. We'll see you next time. Cheers.